in with another one, another banger, another hit, right? Get him on. You don't want to miss this one. We're going to roll that intro for you. Peace, peace, family. We're about to get it started.
Young L on the beat.
Peace, family. We in the building. Young Elder Gang. We taking over the gang. You already know. We taking over the airwaves. You know what I'm saying? And we taking battles. You want to battle? Step right up, man. Step right up if you want to battle. We're about to be taking battles and the information. You know what I'm saying? We ain't taking no prisoners. We cracking heads and twisting caps. Sabine gang, right? Nuwapian gang. We running the scene right now. Right? So we taking battles. Let's get that screen shared for you so we can show you what's going on, man. We cracking heads and twisting caps. Never have it been made so clear. And rap in this rap form. In the rap form, bro. All right, let me get that slides pulled up for you. We're about to crack heads and twist caps. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you don't receive a notification from us every day, come back and check with us. We cracking heads and twisting caps. Let's get it. Let's get that folder pulled up for you. We in this folder for today. Let's go down. All right, we left off with part 11. This is part 12. Like I say, it might be a couple. Well, I know it's gonna be a couple more parts because we got a lot more to go over. But we in the part now after the pole shift when the Anunnakis left to hover over the planet, right? While the pole shift happened, hoping or thinking at least they at least Enlil claimed to think we about to bust him too, because he did some slick stuff too. And keep in mind, YouTube, we're gonna keep it clean. We're gonna keep this clean as possible. We ain't taking no prisoners, man. Look, it's up back in heads into it. All right, so we talked about on the last tape about the pole shift, right? So when the pole shift happened, like I say, Enlil called a meeting at the last minute. They knew that in 700 years, that it was gonna be a flood. Uh, Enlil found out 700 years before it happened that it was gonna be a pole shift, right? Causing the Earth to shift. 700 years for them is not that long. Keep that in mind because 1 month for them is 300 days, 300 years. 1 month for the Anunnakis is 300 years. So he found out about 2.5 months daytime, 700 years Earth time, which is why Enki told Noah to build a boat in 7 days, 7 days the Earth time, not the days like 24-hour days, but like based on the time that not Earth time but Nubaru time, the 7 days Nubaru time is what he was saying about the time frame. But you keep in mind, Noah drunk some of the secret elixir. He got drunk off the secret elixir, which I believe had some kind of alcohol in it because uh, he got drunk, right? Um, but the Anunnakis make a test to this whatever he was drinking. It make you live a long time. And I thought about that. I said, "Man, you know what? My grandma drunk like a little small can of beer every day, and she lived right up until they hit her with the Ali. We got to say it like that. She lived right up until like 90 something. And then my other grandma, she did the same thing. She lived to almost 100. She drunk like a little small can of beer every day. And then I thought about this other lady on my dad's wife, her grandmother, she lived to be 100 and something, and she drunk a can of beer every day. And I was like, damn, these people drink beer and they live a long time. So I was like, oh, I want to know what was Noah drinking. What he drinking beer, right? Because he got drunk off of whatever it was, the elixir, and fell asleep in his tent. Okay, but the pole shift is kinda like, what happened with the pole shift is kinda like what they showed you in the movie 2012, right? In the movie in 2012, they showed you, how the water, wiped out most of the life form and the building structures and everything. So that same thing happened, right during the beginning of the age of Leo, right? During the time of Leo, which is about around 10,000 and some years ago. Keep that in mind because this is gonna tie in with the building of the pyramids, which is why we put that tape out, right, with, the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, the building of the pyramids, 10,000 BC. A lot of people, they heard that tape before, and they say, "Oh, yeah, well, I ain't gotta listen to it again, I already heard it," but you might wanna go listen to that tape again, you might can hear more stuff now since we didn't talk up to this level to where people can hear what's going on, right? Okay, hold up. I don't know why that picture's right there. It's really out of order. All right. So after the flood, right? After the flood, hold on, let me look right here. After the flood, because it skipped those pictures. I want to know why. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. They're in the right order. Like I said, you might be 400 right here, but I might be on like the slide. 'Cause I got slides in between the numbers. So it's like that. All right. So after the flood, and they came when the Anunnakis were hovering in their ships, and after the flood subsided, with like just like Noah said, the flood subsided, and he landed on Mount Ararat, which they call the Mount Salvation. right? The Anunnakis called it Mount Salvation, right? They came back to Earth when they Key, right? When they came back to Key, some of the structures were still intact, like the landing pad, a couple more other pads that they had built still intact, but a lot of the stuff got knocked over and destroyed. Right, a lot of the minings got covered with mud, and it ain't that the structures that they built got destroyed, but it's like, they got covered with mud and sand and stuff, so they would have to dig it out, dig a lot of these places out, right? A lot of the mining areas got covered with mud, with glaciers, with the glacier slides and all that. So it was messed up pretty bad. They had a couple pieces that still was put together, so they immediately started rebuilding. The Anunnaki started rebuilding, right? Right? I forgot to say this part. Oh yeah, also when the flood was over, Enki and Enlil got in a helicopter because they in the Bible they refer to these helicopters as whirlwind. When you hear the word whirlwind in the Bible, it's talking about a helicopter because these helicopters got the spinning blades. We're gonna break all that down too, right? But check this. Okay, so when Enlil and Inky and them came back and was flying around looking at the land in a helicopter, they both was flying. Each had a helicopter they were flying. They saw this smoke coming from the mountain, Mount Ararat, and it was Noah burning an offering to Enki for helping them save him. But Enlil didn't know this. But keep in mind, secretly, Enlil had saved his people too. We're gonna break that down on the other side, on the great beyond. In the great beyond, his people survived because they went into these caves and they built canoes. So they built ships because they heard about the great flood. And there's records over here in Canada of this flood. We're gonna break some of this stuff down, right? Get them in here, man. About to get ready to crack heads and twist caps. About to get ready to crack heads and twist caps. Right? Never have it been made so clear. So some of they keep it in mind at first the Anunnakis for their temples and they like their palaces and houses, they were building these ziggurats. Right? Keep in mind, ancient Egyptians and Anunnakis is the same exact people. About to break this down. They were building ziggurats, right? When they came back to Earth, right? These are some of how the ziggurats look that they built. These are the ones they was building on Riz Coop. They were building these hologramic ziggurats. That's what a ziggurat look like. Keep in mind that ramp going up to this, right? Because you're gonna see these same type of structures over here in America, but they call them mounds, and they underground. They underground over here with the same type thing. They use these as landing script where they can land on the top with their UFOs, like a mountain, like a landing pad, really. They land all the humans down here worshiping them as the gods land on top of the thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. Here's another one. Here's another one right here of how it look right here. All right. Right. So you see the ziggurat the ancient when they come down to Amun and who's Murdoch, the gate builders, right? It's one of the names they refer to these people as. They built the Stargates, right? Let's get it. Let's go, baby. We in the game. All right. So when they came back, Tahuti, who is Ningazita, right? Ningazita is Inky's son, right? Ningazita is Inky's son. And I think that he was in his Twa avatar, which they refer to him in the ancient Kemet as Ptah, right? So and they tell you in the ancient Kemetic story that Ptah generated himself out of the primordial waters, meaning they don't know no mother, no father. Why? Because the primordial waters that they're talking about is the tube, the cloning tube that the Anunnakis use to make clones, to make avatars. Go watch the movie Avatar, you get a better idea what we're talking about. But we have reason uh to know that he was in his Twa and that Tahuti would be taught part Twa, right? Tahuti would be taught part Twa, Ningazita, right? Uh, and he was the one after they landed back on Earth, he came out with the idea to design these pointy mountain. They call them pointy mountains, pointy mountain shaped structures. And nigga Zeta drew the plans, the layout for these structures, right? And they were more advanced than what you seeing, what they showing you, because they chiseled all the limestone off the side of these things. It looked it like this. Then they had a gold capstone with engravings on it like this, right? That's what the capstone about the dollar on the back of the dollar and all that is connected with this, right? This capstone that Nigga Zeta put on top of the pyramids. And this was done right after the flood during 10,000 BC during the time of Leo. Keep that in mind. 10,005 BC during the time of Leo, like the age of Leo, right? So they had the gold capstone, and inside the pyramid, they had the five stones, which they put it out in a movie called The Fifth Element. Right? They put a movie out called Fifth Element because Enlil and them and Nigazeta and them set up a certain type of technology inside of this pyramid that would generate energy out through the capstone at the top, so that they can pull their ships over to this pyramid and recharge using a piezoelectricity type energy, plasma type energy, right? Because under the pyramids, they had water running under the pyramids over granite rock that would send a static electricity up through the chambers. Then it would ignite the crystals. The crystals will be directed to one point to generate out of the peak of the pyramid, out of this capstone, a certain type of energy that they can use to power pretty much the whole city. Right now, let's think about this. The three pyramids at Giza was built by Ningazito way before Khufu was even born. Okay, way before Khufu was even born. Khufu wasn't even born when these pyramids were built. Khufu renovated these pyramids when he came along. Him and his brothers, man, his sons. Khufu, Khafre. They renovated these pyramids, right? Now let's break down some key factors. The granite bottom pieces that were used, some of them weigh over 200 to 300 tons, and they solid granite. The closest place to get granite in this area is 2,000 miles away. The closest place to get granite, and then what kind of cutting equipment did they have to perfectly cut those stones if they didn't have laser equipment? If they didn't have, they had laser. The Anunnakis had laser cutting equipment to cut those stones, and then they had technology that could haul stones 2,000 miles because they had to take the anti gravity technology. But you to tell me some caveman crap about some niggas roll 300-ton granite stones on logs 2,000 miles, man, get the hell out of here. It not and then you telling me they put it on a boat, some little canoes or something, get the hell out of here. That'll sink they boat. 3,000 tons, 300 tons of granite would sink a boat, a little boat, unless they was putting it on some kind of big aircraft carrier type boat. So when people rule out the high level technology that we were doing back then, they rule out a lot. So how did they get them 300-ton stones to this location from 2,000 miles away? You telling me 200 niggas pulled it with some straw string and on some logs? Man, get the hell out of here. Get up out of here with that. Man, these people, Anunnakis, Ningazita built these pyramids these three pyramids at Giza and other pyramids right after right after the flood. Now let me explain the Imhotep pyramid and why people saying that's the first oldest pyramid. Yeah, that's the first pyramid, oldest pyramid built by humans, right? So what happened? I'm gonna explain because we take in Dr. Ben and Ashwar Crazy. We study all of them. Right? So let me break it down. So what keep in mind, Imhotep is Enki's son. Ptah is Enki. Imhotep is Enki's son. Okay? That's one thing. The next thing is that what Imhotep was doing was trying to replicate what he already seen. He was trying to get to the point of building a pyramid like Ningazita built a pyramid. So he was doing a practice run trying to show the people that, hey, I got the same type of building and engineer skills as my brother. Years later, he duplicated it, and then following Imhotep, other humans from that bloodline, from the Demi bloodline, who were architects, kept on building the pyramids, kept on doing the pyramids until they got it right. From Huni, all them, right? They kept on trying to imitate the three pyramids at Giza, and there's no ain't no other pyramid duplicated the ones at Giza, because Tahuti built them. And he also came over here later and built landing pads. I'm about to get into that too. But these things were more advanced than what they telling you right now. These things were and right now they still give off energy, and it's beings that still pull over these pyramids and get energy from them. It's beings that still pull over this pyramid to get energy, right? Hold on, go to the next one. All right, so that's then. All right, so being that this was the age of Leo, Inky said that since Tahuti built these pyramids and these structures that can be represented as Earth from can be seen from the sky, and they're like a marble from the sky, you can see him, right? He said that in memories of him for his great architect, we're gonna build a Sphinx to mark the age of the time. So it was in the time of Leo, 10,000 BC when they built the pyramids, and they at first they put Ningazita's face up there, right? As a that's what Inky said. I'm gonna put Ningazita's face, and we'll make a reference to him in the late age of Leo that he built these structures, right? Then later on, once Damu Z, who is Osar or Osiris, Inky's younger son, got murdered, then they put his face on the Sphinx, so it became Osiris' face. So, but at first, because that's why Crazy was saying that this must have been a Twa face, and he was close because Tahuti was Twa through Ptah, who is Inky, right? Another name for Inky, who had different avatars, right? People probably saying, "Oh yeah, my Egyptian guys probably saying, man, this just spaced out." But they brain cut off at a certain point. That's why they sent us to do this. You can't do this. What are we doing? You can't say what we saying. Your brain cut off at a certain point. You only can go so far. That's what you're supposed to been teaching. Then young L supposed to have been coming, putting the rest of this out, putting the next level to it, tying it all in together. Because I'm just sending it down from the prophet line of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York L. Free Malachi Z. York L. Free Larry Hoover. Free Rashord Jamal. You heard me? Right? Straight up. Free Jeff Ford. Right? Straight like that. Right? So yeah. So that the Sphinx was put right there. Right? So keep in mind these pyramids were advanced technology with the gold caps on, the energy shut up. They because in the book, even in the Lost Book of Inky with Zachariah Stitcher, he talk about how the crapstone was lit up at night and then at the daytime it was glowing and was from the sun hitting it. And they so what it was doing is it was not only generating energy by itself without the sunlight, it was generating energy by absorbing the sunlight and then turning it into the piezoelectricity, turning the sunlight into piezoelectricity so they can power their equipment. And so that's what it was, right? So they can power their equipment. Somebody fixing? Hold on, y'all. We cracking heads and we twisted cap, right? We recording this tape pre-recorded. We're gonna have more pre-recorded tapes now, so we can get them approved now. Because we losing a lot on not having them approved before we putting them out. So we gonna make sure we keep it clean and clean cut. You know what I'm saying? That's right. All right, where was we? Another thing too about the pyramids, might I add, is they come in as weights because the Anunnakis were taking a lot of gold off the earth, it was causing the earth to become unbalanced because they weren't giving it the gold time to form again. It was taking large amounts of gold from the earth. So they really was throwing off the balance of earth. So in order to fix the balance, they was importing the same amount of weight from Mars and other moons to rebalance Earth. So the bricks, a lot of the bricks was the pyramids at Giza and a couple more other pyramids, some of the bricks and stonework was brought from Mars, right? Some of the stonework was brought from Mars by these Agigis who was helping niggas either and Murdoch them build up these pyramids. Right? They use these because, like, just like they say, what Solomon was using these demons, these 200 fallen beings or these bad spirits to build the temple of Enki, in the Yahweh, the Lord God, right? Because Lord God is really inking them in Yahweh and Enlil now, right? And Ninurtu and Adad and Murdoch, right? Who becomes Ra, who becomes Amen, who becomes Atum, who becomes Amun, right? All three of them are him, the same Ra, just in different time frames, or different names that he used as he was on the run, uh, allegedly for the murder of his brother Damuzi, who is Osiris, right? He was they trying to say they said that Ra was in on it, and Ra was in on it. Murdoch was in on because he sent the people because he thought that Osiris was trying to overthrow him. We're gonna get into that on the when we break down. We're gonna get into that when we break down the ancient Egyptian part. We just got to teach this part first, and then we're gonna work you down to the storyline when we leave and go to Riz, and then we have to leave Riz, go to Orion, and we become known as the Atlanteans, and then we come back to Earth. The children of Enki, right? 'Cause we got the book Children of the Enki, right? Okay. All right. Here's a another thing too. After the flood, the Anunnakis, Enlil sent Ninurtu to what you call in America or Turtle Island today. They call it the Anunnakis call it the Great Beyond, and it's pyramids over here too, right? It's pyramids over here too, right? This is a pyramid underwater right here. This is a pyramid underwater in Washington State, in Rock Lake. They found a pyramid. They got the same type of. They already chiseled the damn limestone off of it under there already. It looked just like the pyramid over in Giza Plateau. Had a capstone, lime, and this pyramid is underwater over in Washington, in America. Go type in the underwater pyramid in at Rock Lake. That's how they found it. They used a satellite image to find it. They saw it under there with a satellite image from the top. Right? They saw this. Damn, it's a pyramid under there. Right? Then it's got like little stations right here around it. This was built by Tahuti. Pointy Pyramid over in America, under the lake, in the lake bed, right? It, they want. I don't know if it's like this is a picture from there, but it may be three pyramids down there under that lake, set up just like the pyramid pointing at Orion, right? Because they was over here too. This is the underwater under city. This is under that lake right here. Look at this. All these cities is built under that lake. They aren't telling us about this. Why they ain't told us about this in the History Channel? Why they ain't put this out on the History Channel? All the structures that these people are already got built over here. All right. So during after the flood, Enlil sent Ninurtu over to this area. And when Ninurtu got over here, he got over here, he was in shock because it was a whole bunch of earthquakes that took place too. Cause a lot of this land, a lot of this stuff didn't flood. A lot of the whole earth didn't flood. It was just certain areas that flooded when the pole shift happened. So a lot of it was survivors over here. Cain seed. Really, it was the seed that it was Enlil seed, these Enlilites, the Cain seed, right? Because they the two ball Cain, right? Two balls in the cane, right? We could break that down too. Youth, manhood, and adulthood, or old man, right? We can break that part down too, cause we got all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But it was earthquakes over here, and when the earthquakes happened, gold nuggets just popped out and was just laying on the ground over here. And so when then the Earth two got over here, it's right here before the Great Lakes is right here. The Anunnakis dug these Great Lakes out using their heavy equipment, right? So when he came over here and he saw this gold on the side of the mountain, he was like, man, he called Enlil and Inky them. He said, hey man, this gold just laying on the side of the mountain over here after the new rule passed. It's just like it shook this mountain and cracked the mountain. It's gold on the ground. It's like nuggets, huge nuggets. He said it's more than we can probably haul off over here in America. He says more gold than we probably can haul off. That's how much gold that was over here in America. They telling you about Africa and how much gold is in Africa, but they ain't tell you how much gold was in America because it was all this gold that's in Africa. Why they came over here for a gold rush? Why did they come over here for a gold rush? They called the gold, 49ers. Why did they come over here for a gold rush if it was all the gold was in Africa? See, somebody playing games, they don't want to tell you the whole setup, the whole planet had gold. The whole planet. They don't want to tell you that, right? I'm telling you, man. The whole planet. In America, we just as rich over here as there is in Africa. Let's get it. Let's go, baby. Right? Y'all give the game. Okay, so the Anunnakis came over here and they started mining this area, the area right where Rod Hayes is at in Michigan, the Great Lakes. They dug this out. Right, they started this area was heavenly with gold. This gold just laying on the ground like nuggets. And what the Anunnakis did is came over here and started collecting the gold. Then they started digging this area out to dig the gold out, and they created the Great Lakes. The Anunnakis dig the Great Lakes out over here. Ninurtu under Ninurtu's orders from Enlil. So it's gold in Michigan. It's more gold in Michigan than it probably anywhere. There's a lot of gold underground in Michigan. That's what they don't want to tell you, man. Why you think they heavenly Michigan is heavenly watched and guarded, and there's a lot of mining and stuff going on underground in Michigan. They getting the gold from underground right up under the people's feet, man. I'm telling you. All right, so like under the water in Michigan, in the lakes, they salt lakes. I mean, that's yeah, Salt Lakes in Michigan, and they got gold, there's gold reefs under the water. They ain't telling you about this. I bet Lake Michigan, the Great Lakes is heavily guarded. You gotta have some kinda all kind of passports and what you call it, documents just to go fishing up out there, probably. It's probably crazy out there. I'm about to get raw on that. Right? But it's all the gold that's coming out of Michigan right here. Look at that. Look how good that gold. The gold is good in Michigan. The gold is good in Michigan. We got you. The gold is good in Michigan, baby. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, right? And hit that bell if you don't receive a notification from us every day. Come back and check with us. We putting something out every day for you. Nothing but that hot stuff. You know what I'm saying? We running the game right now. Okay. So, like I said, then there two phone Enlil and Inky now. He said, y'all got to get over here right now, man. This gold laying on the ground, man. You ain't gonna believe it. He's like, hey, Enlil. Hey, Pops. Hey, man, get what they get. Tell Inky and them, man, we got an answer to our problems. It looked like we got took out on that side because all the mines and stuff got covered up. But on this side, gold just popped out of the mountains. It's just laying on the ground. And all we gotta do is just come get somebody to pick it up because they was really tripping because they're like, man, yeah, we just like Earth got destroyed and we didn't save a lot of the Lulu Amalus, but now who we gonna get to work the mines for us because we wiped out our workers, wiped out most of the workers. So who we gonna get to work the mines? And that's what they said. That's when Nina Ertu was saying, oh, we ain't gonna all we gotta do is get some kind of robot or something out here to pick this stuff up and we can start picking this gold up and loading it back to new. It's nuggets of it out here. So they started coming over to America, right, and setting up landing pads and things for the and the hell and had Chinook helicopters. Keep in mind, They said that Cain seed was over here. Cain seed had migrated over here. And keep in mind when Inky
was mating with his side of the humans on Seth from Adam's side. Enlil told Ninurtu to go out and find the daughters of Cain so that and bring them back so that they can start having kids amongst them. And they start having the kids amongst the Cain. And those people, some of them migrated over here, the Hindus, the mixed people. They was already over here, and then some of them survived flood, this pole shift, because it's a storyline over here where they say it was a great flood and they made canoes and they survived. These natives over here who was a part of Cain seed from what Enlil, because Enlil got tell his storyline too, where he actually had his one of his seeds got saved over here. Because keep in mind, then Ertu and them was controlling this. And then Nigazita, once Ninurtu got into it and got Ninurtu and Ninurtu, Nergal, they started a nuclear war, right? Because we're gonna get to that part on part 13. But I want to also talk about this part. Also, Ninurtu came over here and the missile silos. He set up a whole bunch of missile silos so they can launch nuclear weapons from here to the Middle East. So what you got, your missile silos in Kansas, that was already there. It's missile silos down here. A lot of missile silos in Central America, South America, especially in Peru. Cuba was a launching site. Alaska was a launching site, but then there too they built all kind of missile silos over here. Right, so it was already missiles over here. This is one of the landing pads right here for the helicopters because they were driving these whirlwinds. These Anunnakis had these helicopters. It's like hit like a landing pad. He called it a mound, right? The Rock Eagle Mound or these different mounds, which is really helicopter landing pads. UFO landing pads for the they call them chariots, sky chariots. This is a landing pad for a sky chariot. It looked like a ziggurat, really, but it's just underground type ziggurat. You call it a mound, and they got why is there a walking thing, a stair down from the top of this thing? Because they land right here on the top and they walk down. Come on, man, it's right there, right in your face. Same thing here. They built all these pyramids or mounds, which were literally landing pads for their UFOs or their crafts to come load the gold up from here and take it to Nubaru, right? There go another one. There go some more mounds. There go some more mounds right here, man. You ain't gotta make stuff like this up, right? We cracking heads and we twisting caps. There go some more mounds. And I can go on the mounds, on the helicopter landing pads or chariot of the gods landing pads. I can go on and on showing you. And they also were delivering workers over here. Once they started getting the population built back up, they started delivering workers over here on the they call them, they say they scattered these people. They scattered them how? With a whirlwind. What's the whirlwind? The helicopter. So they had this land built up over here with mounds and pyramids. And why they had some of the times why they had their houses built up like this, it was like a levee because of the waters and the floods. They would build a house up high off the ground. All right, here you go right here. See what it says? Behold, he shall come as a cloud, and his chariot shall be as a whirlwind. That's the helicopter. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe, hold on, let me see this. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. But the whirlwind part is because they were taking people onto these Chinooks and bringing them over here as workers. We already broke that down on the ancient technology tape. Also, you can read in Revelations where it said they had locusts, they lined up the battle, they had teeth, talking about the planes. We got this out in the Injil. Bible put the book out, the breakdown of the Revelations called the Injil, right? And that's talking about this particular information about these what John said he's seen in the future. He was seeing planes and advanced technology, right? We already broke that down. We just want to show you this, okay? All right, yeah. Zechariah Stitcher says, "But I shall scatter them with a whirlwind amongst all nations whom they knew not." So some of the people or the Israelites who were being taken by Inky and Enlil and them, they were being scattered with a whirlwind, meaning they were being taken on a helicopter. Speaking of that, man, thank the universe for protecting my mother today. They was in a tornado, man. And it told her, and she was at her job, and there was at a tornado at the wash interior, and it tore the whole roof off that joint. And all the cars in the parking lot is totaled. The gro the gas pumps got through into the cars. It was a gas station across the street. The tornado ripped the gas pumps out of the ground and threw them into the middle of the street. So it's crazy, man. But my mom, she's good. She's back at the house now, and but their job gonna be closed down. They gonna have to, she said the building is gonna have to be like bulldozer and rebuilt from the ground up. That's how bad the building was, and they survived in the bathroom. It was like 10, 15 people in there, and they all crammed into the bathroom. So that was crazy, man. Right? That was crazy. Right? So yeah. So God Enlil Inky scattered the Israelites, children, these people of the Bible, in a whirlwind in the helicopter. Right? Also, these gods were using nuclear style weapons. We're gonna get to that too, the war of the gods. That's gonna be maybe the next part when we break down the war of the gods, right? Well, these guys were using nuclear style weapons on each other and on the humans. All right. In Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1, it says, Then I turned and lifted up my eyes, and behold, and look, behold, a flying roll. And it said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The flying roll is the helicopters. Man, not the helicopters, the airplanes. See, saw flying rolls. You look at the ancient Kemet, they got it drew on the wall right here in ancient Kemet, because Inky and them are all ancient Kemet. Murdoch is Ra, Amen. Right? These people are the Tahuti is Ningazita. Asar is all these Inky sons, right? They also had the cylinder shaped crafts, like a dump truck type crafts where these things would be loaded up with gold, and then they could be driven by computerized or driven by actual driver. And one of these actually is parked on the dark side of the moon, where the avatar was that they found a dark skinned avatar inside of the thing, and that was an avatar. You see, mind these people were using avatars when they was coming here. So when that ship probably got shot down, they probably just transferred that lady transferred her consciousness back to, or whoever was using that avatar just transferred their consciousness back to their real body. But a lot of this stuff might be go over people's head. We're trying to keep it simple as possible, right? But they break down the air. He was seeing airplanes back then, and it's right there on the wall in ancient Kemet. All right. Also, they had other types of devices. The Israelites. Keep in mind, these guys right here, Israelite. They Hyksos, right? Hyksos who came in and stole the Ark of the Covenant from the real Israelites, who are the Afar people, right here at the top, right? The Afar, the real Inkyites, right? The Afar people, us, right now, us. I'm a Afar. I'm a descendant of Inky, right? And we had an Ark of the Covenant, and this Ark of the Covenant was a really an advanced device used to get in contact with Inky, right? We could use this, and we would be able to activate the certain people that was part of the priesthood to be able to activate it, but it had a high level of electricity on it. And if you was to touch it, it's kind of like sticking your finger in a plug socket. That's see what is like 220, right? 240 and the on volts. My electricians out there know it's like 240 or something like that. 420 or some big buildings or whatever. So just imagine getting shocked by 10 times of whatever that the voltage is, sticking your hand in the plug in the socket, fork or something in the socket. Don't try that at home though. For my kids that's listening, don't try that and be crazy and kill yourself. It's crazy, right? But yeah, this was an advanced device that was used to communicate and contact the Anunnakis from the children of Enki. So he would let them know where to go. Hey, go to this place. Follow, come beat me here. Right now, this right here is a thing they took from Egypt, a picture, right, where it shows the helicopter right here. This is the HARP device. This is what we call anti-missile device, where they shoot inlet could control this from the pad, Destiny pad, where he could, if they would shoot somebody, if an Anunnaki or somebody was launching missiles at them, he can defend himself. And these right here, these laser weapons would shoot the direct energy plasma weapons would shoot the missile down like an anti-missile system. And then this right here was like the bell. Remember the bell Hitler was doing? The time traveling technology, that's time traveling technology. The helicopter, the yacht, these guys had yachts. We already broke that down on the ancient technology tape. These guys had UFOs or submarine, this right here like a submarine, underwater craft with the fin. This is what they mistaken from the whale in Jonah's whale, right? You see the little boat paddle thing in the back right there? And this right here is an airplane, and this right here is a drone. They had drones. These drones, right? So we're gonna break that down for you, right? It's already had this in ancient Kemet because all this technology come from Enki, right? They also had the Beast 2 bomber style, and then Earth 2 had this device, this flying stealth type. They call it the Blackbird. The Anunnakis call it the Blackbird, where they can fly over and drop bombs on people. And they were doing this. They used this to drop bombs on Sodom and Gomorrah. So keep in mind, these Anunnakis, the technology that you using now, they had millions of years ago, thousands of years ago, right? So that's why when you read the Bible, you see stuff and you saying that it was God and this and that because, of course, it'll be considered as God back then because the technology didn't even exist to the Lulu's knowledge. So they was the Bible is told from a Lulu's perspective, looking at these Anunnakis, not knowing what the technology is. They saying, "Oh, this is a chariot, or this is a bird, or some kind of flying penguin. It's a whale because it looked like a submarine, but they don't know what a submarine is at that time. But if one of us was to go back do that time and then see it pull up, we would say, "Oh, no, that ain't no whale. That's a submarine, right?" They also had these hovercrafts, right? These hovercrafts. It says, and he rode upon the chariot and did fly, and he was seen upon the wings. So they got these uh, 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 these hovercrafts that they use in the center of the earth too. Uh, and they said that this was an angel or some kind of technology. They didn't know what it was, right? Because the Anunnaki had advanced technology, right? The helicopters. I mean, Elijah was one of Enki's prophets, right? And Enki picked him up with in a helicopter, right? It says, and it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went into Elijah from Gilgash. So if you ever watch a helicopter land, if you ever watch a helicopter land, it creates a whirlwind like a tornado when the blades are spinning and kick up dust. So these Lulu Amalus or these mortals see this technology this technology, and imagine this. Imagine what if the Anunnakis is us from the future, and that they coming back into time, flying what we flying now back then. What if they us that went back into the past and tried to alter our past and we messed up? Think over that. Because this right here now is reality. Whirlwinds are reality now. But back 10,000, 44, 6,000 years ago, this right here would have been to humans, they would have knew what it was, right? But it breaks it down in the Bible, whirlwinds. So Inky had the Heart Project already. You ain't doing nothing new. Them boys was already swinging yachts. Them boys already had swinging around in whales, right? It was already driving whales around, right? They was already driving whales around, right? Yeah, okay. They was driving submarines and whirlwinds and big old huge crabs and flying scrolls, right? Also, Inky designed heavy equipment to dig out the mining sites. So he had the heavy equipment, he had the big trucks, he had the boats that were they scrapped this part because they said they weren't fast enough. So they just started really just digging the ground out and creating all these tunnels. And they even started when they after they came back after the flood, they started rerouting and making dams and waterfalls on the land to try to reroute the water so it is make the water go around the flood. So it went about the flood. Some of the lands was still flooded. So in order to get the land where the gold was unflooded, they would create these canals and rivers, like the Mississippi River. They dug the Mississippi River out. That's why it's wide like that. The Mississippi River got gold going down the Mississippi River. These Anunnakis dug the Mississippi River out all the way up to the Great Lakes. They dug that out. All these canals over here and these rivers was dug out. A lot of them by the Anunnakis. That's the heart. We already showed y'all that. They also was using atomic style bombs. Here's the comparison right here. See the helicopter right there. Right, we already showed this on the ancient technology tape. You see the helicopter right there. You see the yacht. See the submarine right there. Which, like I said, they mistaken that for a whale. You see the heart right here, and you see the airplane right here. Right. They also had tanks. The Anunnakis had tanks. Right. The Anunnakis had tanks. Right. If you read this part right here, this is in Revelations where it said they had heads like lions, they could turn and they could spit out brimstone, fire, and all that. So the Anunnakis, when they were battling each other, when Inky and Enlil's people were battling each other and they were fighting against the 200 fallen, they were using tanks. They had tanks back then. The Anunnakis had tanks right there in Revelations. All right, yeah. Jonah and the whale, you already know about that. If you look at a whale, look at how this whale look right here. Then you look at a submarine. So back then they knew what a whale was because they seen the whale, right? But they didn't know what a submarine was. So when they would see that Ink and them pull up in a submarine, these Anunnakis, they would say, "Oh, he left in the whale. God saved them in the whale." But I don't believe that it said that originally. I believe it probably said that they was in some kind of device, but they wanted to play us like we stupid and tell us it was that he got ate by a whale. Man, come on, get up out of here. Get up out of here with that, man. Stop playing, bro. We ain't children no more. That's like a third grade. My son Haru won't even believe it. You like Hakeem probably won't even go for that part. A whale, he'll look at you like you crazy. A whale ate a dude in 3 days is regurgitating him. Yeah, right. Hakeem, you know what Hakeem will say? This is his favorite line. When you say something that sound crazy, this nigga 2 years old. He say, "Man, that dude must be high." Niggas say, "Man, hey, yeah, he high." Hey, Hakeem say that, man. Look, this nigga say, "Hey, when somebody say something he don't like, something he don't, something that sound crazy." He say, "Oh yeah, that dude must be high." I promise you, man. I'm about to get this dude on let you hear him, man. If you saying something crazy, you go like, "Oh yeah, he high." I tell you, man, this dude's a whole nother level, bro. I'm telling you. And then they also talk about Crystal City in New Jerusalem in Revelations, right? Which is a whole city that comes out of Nubaru that Inky and them put up there to protect the children again. So if the earth ever have a pole shift again, they just take them to this Crystal City, right? And they also had these drilling devices where they could tunnel out the ground. This one, what Phil Snyder was talking about on the tape that we dropped yesterday, right? The day before yesterday, right? Whatever day this tape gonna drop. This is what the machine looked like. They even took a lot of these, like took this stuff, this whole train apart piece by piece and took it up to the moon so they can use this thing on the moon. They started assembling this thing on the moon, these so they can drill underground on the moon. The moon is already really hard out, right? Yeah, so they also had these gliders. You see like these gliders that so when the humans seen these people jump out of these ships that's hovered in the sky with these gliders to glide down on the ground, they was a little bit more advanced in this, but it's the same thing. So they say, "Oh, these people got wings. These are angels with wings because they come out the sky and they flying around in these gliders, right? See how Anu got the ring around him? See he got the ring around him right here, the triangle ring? Same thing, right? They're detachable wings, or what they would call detachable wings. And theirs actually can flap like a bird too, the Anunnaki's one. Yeah, so we already broke down the pyramid with ancient technology. They were using these crystal type devices to generate the power, to store the energy. They were storing the energy on these crystals. It's when they first started creating the notes for the ships, the 0 point energies. When Tahuti and Ninkazita, well, Ninkazita is Tahuti. When Murdoch, Amen, and Ninkazita started working on a 0 point energy. They eventually developed it, 0 point energy, right? And I'm thinking that where everything that's happening now, and like it feel like it already happened, and we just like living something out to fix whatever part that we messed up on. And I believe we just doing going through this again. I believe we already did all this already. We just going through this again, right? It was like we in a time loop or something. Oh yeah, some of this was some of the stones, but they really was made out of a certain type of element in crystal. They were using these 5 stones to power to generate the power and stir the power for with connection with the sunlight, the power for the energy. That's why in they show you in Transformers where they come to the pyramids and they were trying to use the pyramids as a weapon to harness our sunlight. It's telling you what the Anunnakis were doing right there. This I believe this right here. That's one of the reasons why the pyramid energy got toned down a little bit. So it's just getting that little energy from the bottom, static electricity. The water used to roll under the pyramids, right? And this right here became a symbol for our planet due to the sites that then the Gazeta Tahuti built. This became the symbol or the name of our planet from this symbol, from the sun over the pyramids shining down on the capstone from all incoming extraterrestrials. So when they ask you where you from and you display this symbol telepathically in your head, they'll know where you from. This is key, right? I think that's all we wanted to show you for the night. So, like I said, this tape was pre-recorded because we're trying to change the game up. We're gonna do some. We still gonna be doing the lives too. We're still gonna be doing the lives and things. But we're gonna do like the tapes that we know that's the good tapes. We're gonna have them pre-recorded from now on out. So we about to get up out of here, man. We wanna if you wanna show us some love, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We also dropped the Cash App in the pen if you want to send us some donations. We also still got the 8 books by the young elder for a $45 donation to the Cash App or PayPal. Make sure you leave your emails in the links. And keep in mind, mine is the young elder, Coin Swelling Hill, not the young elders. That's another African dude that's scamming off my name. And he's making thousands of dollars off of just having the S on the end of his young elder. And this dude is scamming. So don't fall for that because a lot of people say they sent the money and I ain't never got it. And they sent it to the wrong. Come to find out they sent it to the other guy. So it's this dude that's out here scamming. These Africans. I don't know if it's Africans for sure, but it seems like to me it's like a lot of scamming going on overseas on America. Like a lot of people overseas, a lot of people overseas be scamming Americans, right? Online and shit. So you gotta be careful of that. But other than that, we about to get up out of here, man. We want to thank you for coming out with us and sharing with us. Peace, love, hotel, shalom alaikum, assalamu alaikum, ashug, divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu.